I'm Maribel Sierra, a realtor and certified stager here in Austin, and I'm here today with Luisa Mauro, who has so much experience in the real estate market here in Austin that we thought it would be great if she can talk to us a little bit about what's happening in the market right now, which is so different from a couple of years ago, and then also about the expectations for next year. It's going to be a new market that many sellers have not seen before. So, will you like that chat?
I love it. It is the greatest always, Maribel, to share practical tips with you and what updates we've seen this year and what we're seeing next year. And Maribel, I really want to learn and know from your experience staging so many houses, what you're seeing.
Happy to do that. Staging has always been my passion, so we can talk about it as we share with people here what the market is like. What do you think if we start with the current market, Lisa?
Yeah, so okay, before we jump into today's market, I'm going to actually go back to the height of the pandemic when Austin was setting records. We had 2 weeks of inventory, and what that means is if nothing else had come on the market over the course of 2 weeks, there would not have been a home left for a purchaser to buy. So that's why we saw real estate prices shoot up like a hockey stick. We saw aggressive multiple offers, and we were really, the greater Austin area, one of the darlings of the pandemic. So now we come to today, a complete 180. We're also setting records. We have more inventory than we've had in over 20 years. In fact, just last month, Redfin declared us the #1 buyer's market in the country. And that's because we have 130% more sellers than we have buyers. So it's the dream day for buyers, really. They've got more negotiating room than they have had in years in the greater Austin area. And so for sellers, what this means is that pricing and presentation, it is more critical than ever.
That is so true, Lisa. When I show houses, I'm seeing buyers spending so much more time in the houses. With so much inventory, they're not rushed. So they're looking at houses, the appliances, they're looking for foundation issues, they're looking at more information than what I've seen in the past 2 years with the houses. So inventory makes a difference. Buyers are more picky and sellers need to recognize that.
Absolutely. And you think all these buyers, they are starting their search, flipping through online listings. And so, Maribel, from your experience on the staging side, what are you seeing?
It's amazing how vacant houses, or those that you can tell have not been maintained properly, really come out of the market and are spending so much more time in the market because buyers want to see well-maintained houses. They want to have a great first impression. So landscape, even the entry door being painted makes a big difference. So if the house is vacant, I highly recommend to stage it. And it's not just staging for the heck of the furniture, but it's to make the space look bigger. Empty houses look smaller. It's also strategic in the sense that it can hide certain things that you don't want to show in an empty house. That's always an issue. And then for staging, it's not any type of staging. It has to be the right staging. I say it cannot be like furniture coming out of the warehouse and just put it into a house. It needs to create that emotional connection. Right staging with the right pricing, I think it's the connection that buyers will feel that they can buy the house. I feel like we've got a good idea of the current market. Let's talk a little bit more about 2026.
Excellent.
What are your expectations?
So 2026, we're expecting a more balanced market. Interest rates should be steadier. And, as I talk about the Austin area, I do want to say, though, what I'm going to share is about certain large areas of Austin, the greater Austin area, and it's actually so specific to neighborhoods. So if you are interested in selling, please reach out to us so we can tailor what we share for next year to your actual area. But as I think about, let's go to East Austin first. It has had historically so much demand. Inventory has really crept up in East Austin. And so if you're selling next year and you have a vacant house, we highly recommend staging it. It is really hard to compete with the house around the corner that perhaps an owner lives in it. It looks really great with their belongings, and a vacant house just won't compete. So we highly recommend staging in these vacant houses and, of course, pricing correctly. Now we'll jump to a completely different area, Westlake, Tarrytown. Those areas are typically really insulated from price adjustments compared to the rest of our area. So Westlake, for instance, has Eames School District, which really protects its pricing. Tarrytown has a very protected pricing. We still recommend, though, when selling in these areas, to if the house doesn't completely need staging, but certain areas could benefit, stage those small areas and make them pop. They could be integral parts of the house that could really sell to a buyer. We also recommend freshening the landscape so that it really pops when a buyer comes up to the home as well. Then we'll jump over to Leander, Round Rock, Cedar Park, the suburbs of Austin. Inventory is really creeping up there too. So in addition to pricing correctly, we say, do the repairs that are needed. Again, there can be a house just a couple blocks away that the owner's done the repairs, the prices aren't too different. The buyer's gonna go with a house that has the repairs. So address the repairs. Even possibly offer a few seller concessions up front, offering to pay a little bit of the buyer closing costs. And now we'll just jump to the high-end luxury segment. And those prices are often very insulated as well. Now, these houses are spending more time on the market, and the buyers that shop, they are very discerning. So it is important at these really high-end price points to immaculately stage the property, to have the most high-end photography done so that the marketing really pops.
I love all these tips that you're giving to the sellers. I hope everyone got those tips, but I can summarize the importance of landscaping, the importance of staging properly to the buyer market, the importance of first impressions, right? And then another one I love how you said is the importance of repairs. Sometimes changing a carpet, a small paint can make such a big difference. I don't know how much you agree with this, but I see sometimes sellers hesitant to do it because of the cost. And sometimes it's a minimum cost for the potential that you're going to get and the benefit you're going to get. And I would love to talk about a new program that I've heard about, Pay It Close. We in the staging have used it, and I think it's a great program because it takes the burden out of the seller of paying for staging upfront. They will pay it when the house closes, but it can also be used for repairs.
Absolutely. There are contractors that we work with that they're also open to being paid at closing. So it does remove that barrier because, if you're competing with a house that the repairs have been done and it's staged, but possibly couldn't have afforded this up front, now you can compete. That barrier is removed.
Love it. And I'm sure either Luisa or myself can share more about the program if you're interested on it. So Luisa, tell me about something a seller should absolutely do in this market.
Do invest in presentation, staging, repairs, and curb appeal.
Perfect. And what about something they absolutely cannot do?
Do not overprice. It does not work in a seller's interest in this market.
I totally agree with that. And as we wrap up 2025 and head into 2026, what is the big takeaway?
Yes. So the takeaway for 2026 is we will be in a more balanced market. We should have steadier interest rates. Buyers are going to have more inventory to choose from. They are going to have more negotiation power. So as a seller in 2026, it is imperative to price correctly and present the property in the very best of ways. These sellers that have staged their houses, they've got it move-in ready, they've done the repairs, they are going to benefit from it. They are going to experience higher, better prices, less time on the market, and a smoother road to closing. For 2026, the key is preparation.
You said it exactly how I will summarize it as well. 2026, it's all about first impressions and presentation and right price. Thank you so much, Luisa. This has been fun, and I hope for everyone as well. We have certainly gave the sellers more confidence in what they need to do to put their listing in the market and what to expect for next year. It's a totally different market with lots of uncertainty, lots of changes, but I hope this conversation has made it a lot more clear.
Absolutely. And if you are thinking about selling, please reach out to us. We'd love to talk you through it and make the process smoother and more successful for you.